Good morning, it's April 25th. This is to my liberal friends. Well, the divide between the Democratic Party keeps getting wider and wider. They have no identity about who they are, and the two sides continue to debate the direction of the party, with each believing they have the correct path. The progressive wing of the party is out in full force. We have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on her oligarchy tour with Bernie Sanders. They're drawing big crowds and raising money. Most of it's being spent on their own expenses. And there's more and more talk of her running for the Senate in New York, or even heading up the Democratic ticket as president in 28. You think Kamala Harris could not answer a question with a clear answer? You'll start to think she could when you listen to Ocasio-Cortez. Over at the Democratic National Committee, David Hogg was beating his chest and demanding that older Democrat member of Congress either step aside or be faced with a tough primary from a young progressive. And you can be sure some of the older members of the party were thrilled to hear his threat. He was reeled in by the DNC chair and told the DNC does not pick sides in primary races, and if it continued, he would have to resign his position. I suspect that this know-it-all activist will resign his position at the DNC and claim he can be more effective from the outside. He clearly believes, like a lot of young people his age, that he's absolutely right, has all the answers, and everybody else is wrong. But that's not stopping the far-left segment of the Democratic Party from going on the offensive. Most of them come from deep blue urban districts, so they can say things that will not endanger their own re-election. Case in point is Congressman Greg Cesar from Texas. He's the chair of the Progressive Caucus, and the 35-year-old wants the party to pivot and become the party of the working class. He's parroting the economic messages of another geriatric member, Bernie Sanders. Problem is, Sanders is more of a socialist than a Democrat. In recent years, the Democrats have become more identified with white liberal elites in urban areas and minority voters. How many times have we heard some Democrat refer to Middle America as flyover states? Democrats have embraced a philosophy that's been described as woke, for whatever that means. They've gone full throat on social issues such as DEI and sexual identity. As someone that grew up in a working class neighborhood in the Pittsburgh area, I can assure them this will not resonate with the men and women I knew. But the march on believing this is the message that will win, and because it's the right message and the public has just not understood or realized it yet, they need to be better educated. This part of the Democratic Party believes they have a winning issue on the deportation of illegal immigrants. They are the loudest in demanding that Abrego Garcia be returned to the United States and referred to him as a Maryland man, a husband and father. They ignore the mounting evidence that he was involved in criminal activity because they made him their poster child in attacking Donald Trump. On the other side of the Democratic Party, you have some that want to take a tough stance against Trump, but to do it with a different approach. One of the leaders of this group is newly elected Senator Elissa Slotkin. She's a former CIA analyst and was able to win a close election in the battleground state of Michigan. She fully realizes she represents a large base of blue-collar workers. Last week in a speech, she acknowledged that the public perception of the Democratic Party as, quote, weak and woke, end quote. She wants to appeal to patriotism and the flag, something Democrats seem to abandon in their move to the left. She has some cachet since she was tapped to give the response to the Trump speech to the joint session of Congress. Slotkin is proposing a shadow cabinet for Democrats to take on the Trump administration at every level. This cabinet will be made up of the ranking members of congressional committees to aggressively bracket Trump's own cabinet. Slotkin's strategy also focuses on language and tone. She made it clear the Democrats should stop using the term oligarchy because, in her opinion, it does not resonate beyond the coastal elites within the party, and a lot of people don't even know what it means. This is a debate that's going on with the Democratic Party, and which side will win will determine the path they take going forward. The problem is the strategies of both sides are diametrically opposite, and it will be difficult to bring both sides together. Slotkin understands that you have to move to the middle, while leaders like AOC, Cesar, and Hogg want to move the party further to the left. They believe their positions, as I said, are the winning ones. As a Republican, I want to see this war continue, to break out in the open as it did with Hogg when he had to be admonished. I want to see the disarray continue because it keeps them in the wilderness. In a poll earlier this month, Democratic voters were asked how they would grade their own party, and 70% of them gave them a grade C or below. In fact, 21% of the respondents gave them an F. These are their voters. That poll said the Democrats want the party to fight for the working class, but that's the crux of the issue, since the progressive wing of the party is too caught up in the social issues that turn off blue-collar workers. The next 6 months will determine who will win the inter-party squabble, and I don't envision a good result for Democrats no matter who wins. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.